Americans across the United States are getting their bank accounts shut down by big conglomerate banks and some credit unions. Now listen, there's always going to be some shady people out there that are going to ruin it for everyone else, but I am literally talking about everyday hardworking Americans that are waking up and their accounts are completely shut down and they have no access to their money. One of the biggest reasons why we are seeing banks that are shutting down people's accounts are because they're depositing large sum checks into their checking account and they've never done business with this company or this bank or this entity that they're putting into their bank account, so it sends a red flag to the actual bank. People that have high-risk industry accounts, meaning OnlyFans accounts, or somebody that possibly dances for a living. When you're also depositing large sums of cash into your account, that can send a big red flag to your financial institution and cause them to lock down an account because they may think it's money laundering even though it's not, because again, you may dance for a living. Or the biggest one that is now growing, if you are transferring money back and forth through Zelle, Venmo, or Cash App, you could just be sending money to your friend for dinner, sending money to your friend because they spotted you for something or you owe them some money. Banks do not like to see a lot of transactions going back and forth and you've never had that history before. This is a new reason why bank accounts are getting shut down also. And now, because we have social media, we have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts, people are coming out and speaking louder about it because it is a growing issue. So let me show you one of these videos that I found about a young lady that this happened to on TikTok. This first one is a bit crazy.
I deposited some money into the bank. And they've asked me two different times. Two different times I deposited money into the bank and they've asked me where it's from.
Why are they asking?
Like, I can deposit money into my own bank account. Like, I don't need to tell you where I got this from. If it's a large amount of money, like a large sum, they have to report it to the IRS. Yes, I understand that. Both times I've deposited money that do not need to be required to be, reported to the IRS. So like, are they linked up now? Like more than they were in the past? Because
I mean, is it just me or is it weird that every time she was depositing money, they were asking her where it was coming from? If it doesn't go past the $10,000 threshold, it doesn't matter. They don't have to question you. They shouldn't question you about where the money's coming from. It's none of their business. Unfortunately, she didn't tell us what bank it was, and I think it's because she didn't want to get banned. But let's take a look at this next one where they completely shut down this young lady's account and she had no access to her money.
So I'm currently banking with SoFi, and my account has been frozen for like a week and a half now.
Over a week and a half now, and they haven't resolved it?
I have been calling them every single day. They have been responding with the same thing. They're just like, oh, you have to wait until they review it. And I'm like, who's they? Like, can I talk to them? And they're like, no, we can't. We don't have access to them. Okay, makes no sense. Okay.
That's
so
nuts.
I call every day.
Of course it doesn't make any sense.
Sorry. And they keep saying the same thing, like, we cannot connect you to them, you just have to wait. And I'm like, girl, I have bills to pay, like, I'm overdue on my bills because my account is frozen. Yeah. I can't do anything, I can't take anything out, I can't deposit anything, I can't even, like, access my account or routing information.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
She's like, okay, well, you're just gonna have to wait. Okay.
Unfortunately, that young lady did make another video telling us exactly what happened, but then she took it down. Basically, what happened is the bank told her that they saw a bunch of suspicious and fraudulent transactions that were going to and from her account. It was from actual accounts like Zelle, Cash App, and Venmo. They did not like the amount of transactions that were going back and forth. Just like I said earlier, this is something that can trigger your account to be closed down. If you're using too many of those peer-to-peer banking services where you send money to a friend or a family member, that can cause your account to get shut down. Now this next one is even crazier because this lady got her student loans forgiven and the US Treasury sent her a check. She was celebrating until she had to deposit. Let's check it out.
They sent me a check in the mail saying that my loan was forgiven. Thank you, God.
This loan came out of the blue from Lois White's loan servicer. Her student loan debt is forgiven.
And then, of course, after she deposited, Chase Bank just shut down her entire account, leaving her no access to any of her money.
Chase first flagged the check from the U.S. government as potential fraud, then locked up and eventually closed White's whole account, blocking access to her money.
I'm really devastated.
I would be completely devastated also if I couldn't access my money. That's insane. What is a person supposed to do in this situation when your bank account gets shut down? You're literally at the mercy of these big conglomerate banks. Last part's the most important. Another reason why we are seeing banks shutting down accounts is when your credit card is tied to that specific bank account. So if you have an account with Bank of America and then you have a credit card, or you have an account with Capital One and then you have one of their credit cards, if you default on that credit card, it will cause them to close down your checking account. If you get a late payment, it can cause them to close your bank account. If you get a high balance and you have not been able to pay it down completely and you've been carrying that balance for far too long, the bank may shut down your checking account. We are currently seeing the largest amount of defaulting credit cards in American history, and this is one of the big reasons that a lot of bank accounts are being shut down, because banks are trying to reduce their risk. Now, this is not to protect them or say that they're not doing anything wrong, because as you saw in these other stories, these people are just regular, everyday, hardworking Americans that haven't defaulted on their accounts, and they're getting shut down also. Now, I thought I was safe being with Pentagon Federal Credit Union, and unfortunately, Pentagon Federal Credit Union recently shut down one of my accounts. I woke up one day to an alert from my phone telling me that all of my transactions had failed. I had auto payment set and I was using my Penfed rewards card on that specific account that was on auto pay. I logged on into my account and I saw that my credit card had 0 credit available, meaning they had shut down my credit card, but I received no notice in the mail or anything to let me know prior to that this was gonna happen or there was some type of issue. So I called Penfed and I asked them what was going on, and of course they gave me the runaround. I was super respectful, very kind, because we gotta understand that being mean is not gonna get us anywhere talking to a rep on the phone. And eventually they got me somebody on the phone that was able to answer my questions, and they said that they sent me a letter asking me to verify my information, and that once I get that letter, I need to send back whatever information I have inside of their portal, and that's exactly what I did. I submitted my documents, my driver's license, a utility bill, and also a proof of income, because I am a business owner, I'm self-employed, but I never put that on my application that I was self-employed. I am in fact employed by my business. After a few weeks, I got no response, no anything, so I picked up the phone and I called them again. And after being on the phone forever, they finally got on the phone with somebody that can actually help me. At first, they told me there was nobody that can help me until I continued to press the issue and got a supervisor on the phone, and they were able to patch me through to the fraud department with Penfed. They said that everything was verified except for my paycheck. They could not verify my employment. Well, guess what? They never called anybody. They never verified anything. So how are you gonna say you weren't able to verify my employment when you didn't even try? So unfortunately, if you are a self-employed person out there and you do supply pay stubs that show you are legitimately being paid by a business, you can be red flagged and they can shut down your account for that also. So unfortunately, we cannot back or talk about Penfed any longer, because if you're a business owner, I don't want you to be in the same situation. I'm fortunate that I have multiple bank accounts and this didn't affect me. Another business owner that has all of their money in Penfed can be drastically affected, and you could be locked out of your money permanently until they possibly send you a check or something in the mail. So we gotta say bye to Penfed forever. So what other options are we truly left with to bank with credit unions that we can trust, or build our own bank is another thing that I started to look into. It's really not that difficult to build your own bank that is trustworthy, and but you have to get enough funds together to fund the bank, which I think it's like $750,000, which is kind of crazy, but it is possible that you can in fact form your own credit union. Maybe that's something that we need to do, because our money does not feel safe in any of these big conglomerate banks or possibly some of these credit unions also. So the question here really is, who can we trust? I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little doom and gloom, but I had to tell you exactly what was going on out there with the banking industry, and it is a fact that a lot of these banks are in danger of closing right now because there's a lot of things going on in the background that nobody is talking about. If there's anything else that you want me to talk about, drop it in the comment section, because it's all about you, our community. We cannot do it without you. Now, if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.